Before you came round, my heart would never beat much faster. Before you came round, I was ready to slow down. Before you came round, I was heading for a small disaster. Before you came round, I was ready to blow me down.
Hello, this is Tom Babb, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create high-quality AI videos using 3 different tools: Reve app, VEO3, and then an editing tool. I've been using Premiere Pro. I'm using Reve to do text to image. I'm using VEO3 to do image to video, and then again I'm clipping everything together using some type of editing tool. I'm going to try to explain this under 10 minutes. So here we go. So first, I started with a song that I really like called "Oh Wonder" by Louis the Child. It's a 2016 song that I really like. And I took this album cover for inspiration. I downloaded this to my computer, and then I did a reverse image prompt on, a reverse image upload on Google, and I was able to find more images of this. This is actually from a movie called Goldfinger. So I grabbed a couple of reference images of this movie, and I brought those reference images into Reve. So let me show you that. So this is my Reve mood board, and it can also serve as a shot board and a vision board, all the different things that you want to do while you're creating some type of story. So I uploaded these 3 pictures here, and my first prompt was, can we build an entire world with different shots of this girl? She is gold in a world of color. And so it started giving me different options for this girl. And I liked this one a lot. And so what I like about this app is I can click on this image. I can actually edit very specific elements of the image, which is unique to this app, and I haven't been able to find this anywhere else. So I could change her face if I wanted to, her dress, her body, the background, etc. But instead I told it to start building a world out around this girl. And so I'll show you what that looked like. It started to create a bunch of different images of this gold girl in the jungle. And so here's some examples. And you can see here, I'll actually show you a couple things here. This is the first scene, and the first scene actually starts with her turned around. So this is the first shot of the entire thing. If you recognize this, this was the first shot. She turns around and you see her face. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But I do want to emphasize that I made probably 200 images to get this video to life, and I only ended up using about 8 or 9 of the images to actually create the product. And so this entire thing was built off of just generating more and more images and finally deciding, oh, wow, this looks good. I'm going to create something like that. And so let me just show you how many images I created to actually get there. Lots of psychedelic stuff I was playing with, some pretty flowers that I was going to bring in. I didn't end up using a lot of this stuff. Her hand touching things, her on the beach, her looking at the camera, etc. So once I got here, I decided that I liked some of these shots, and I brought them into what's called Flow, which is how I work the videos. And so let me just show you how this works really quickly. Okay, so I'm inside a project inside Flow using VEO3, and this is my first scene. You can see her face is turned backwards, and she's going to turn around by the end, and she's going to be looking at the camera. And so how I did this is down here, you can actually generate a prompt, and you can do text to video, frames to video, ingredients to video, or create image. I always do frames to video, and I always make sure that I have the first frame ready, and then I prompt from there. And so, for example, for this video that I created here, I can click reuse prompt, and it brings up the prompt right here. I gave it the first frame and I gave it the last frame. I don't normally give it the last frame, but the reason I did both for this one is because if I tell it to turn around the girl, the model is not going to know what the girl's face looks like, and so it's going to assume what she looks like, and I don't want it to assume. I want it to know what it's going to look like. And so that's why I gave it the last frame. And that's how it's able to get this flawless execution, the start to the end of her. Notice this does have music, and I don't care about the music at this phase because I'm not going to use the music. I'm going to end up using my own music for this. So I actually didn't care what was happening in the actual music. And I decided I like this, so I clicked add to scene. And then what that did is that brought it into something that's called Scene Builder. This is a very cool part of VEO3 and Flow. So I can actually extend scenes by clicking this plus button and clicking extend. And that will allow me to say things like she walks towards the camera, which is what I said for this. So that's how I got her walking towards the camera. Then we got to this scene and I said, okay, now the camera slowly zooms out so that you can see her tiny body on, and then I said, okay, she's on an island. And that's how I created this. And so I created 8-second snippets of each of these. For example, I just clicked add scene, so I don't want this one. So I'm actually gonna go click arrange and just delete this scene right here. One thing I want to note on pricing and how much this cost me. So each of these videos, every 8 seconds that it produces is $1, which equates to 100 credits. So I don't recommend iterating too much because it's going to get pretty expensive as you iterate more and more. Now this 30-second thing right here, even though it's actually 4 different scenes and you think it's just $4, it actually took me, I think, maybe 5 tries to get this scene right. Then I got this on the first try, this one first try, this one first try. So this 30 seconds actually more realistically cost me around, I would say, $10 to $12 to get that right. Hopefully by watching this video, you'll save money and time and not have to iterate so much because you'll know what you're doing. I was definitely tinkering quite a bit along the way. So once you finally decide that you like the video, you can click download right here and you can download it. It'll take a second, but you can download it directly onto your desktop. So I want to show you one other quick thing. I created that project here and then I created more projects here and I brought more and more images in to kind of build this out. And so for example, on this one, I'll just click reuse prompt and you can see what I did. I gave it the first image. I said she seductively looks up at the camera and focuses intensely but calm at the camera. And then that created this. Now I didn't use this video obviously, but I did kind of like it. I just didn't know how to bring it into the actual setting. And there's going to be a lot of transitions for me to get her on the beach. So I just decided not to use this. But I did make a lot of different videos, like all the 8-second clips you're going to see in the video that I created. They're all created in VEO3 like this. So now I'm going to show you what I did in the editing tool, which was Adobe Premiere Pro. So let's jump into that. Okay, so this is Premiere Pro, which is the editing tool that I was using. The main thing that you're going to need in the tool that you use to edit is you're going to need to be able to interact with layers. And I think really that's the only thing you need. I was using some keyframes, but that's kind of a more advanced skill. So what I did is I brought in the MP3, which is the song right here. That's this green layer. And I also liked the audio of the first video, which was like some chirping. And so I actually, like, it was birds chirping and kind of like a jungle mood. So I actually brought in this video, or excuse me, this audio for that first video. And you can see this downsloping right here. This is the audio going away. And so I dragged the audio out as the song came in. And that created this effect, which gives a really natural flow in the video.
Before you came round, my heart would never be much faster.
And by here, the audio from the birds chirping is gone and we're into the music. Let me zoom in on this time frame here a little bit so you can see what else I did a little bit of. So each of these blue things here, these are all different clips. So for example, this first one right here, this is the first 30-second video that I was able to generate. And that's good because I want as long as videos as I can. So this first video is 30 seconds long, more or less, which is awesome on the VEO3 side. I did add in these little elements right here, which are these masked letters. This is a little bit more of a technical skill, but for anyone who has any design skill, what I did is I added the text and then I popped out the text so that it's actually just a black screen with transparent text. And I use a tool called masking in Photoshop for this. So if you can mask, that's how I created this. And that's how I got these to kind of look like a pretty cool overlay. And then, yeah, each of these videos, like this video right here, is literally an export directly out of VEO3. And so this is just letting the video play of her walking with the audio. And that's how I got that. New video right here. New video right there. And then you'll see another shot right here. So bringing it together is really all about thinking about that ahead of time when you're actually in the image generation mode and you're thinking about all of the things that you would want to show, all of the shots that you're going to animate, etc. One last thing that I did that I'll show is I added 2 different rectangles at this phase, and I used keyframes, if you're familiar with keyframes, to bring the rectangles together. That's how I closed it out, like kind of like a movie scene. So this is actually 2 rectangles just coming together at the end. So yeah, that's how I made this video. Happy to share anything. Feel free to DM me on LinkedIn if you have any questions.